Hey guys, and welcome back to the Minnesotan Sports Podcast. My name is Connor Philippi, and this is going to be a predictions video for Week 13. And I apologize, I won't be in my normal setup this time. I'm having kind of another busy week, and I apologize that I haven't been uploading as much as I wish I could be. But I still wanted to get this video out there, get my predictions out there so that I could add it to my total, and judge myself next week and still, see how all that goes. And even if I'm not at my normal set, I can, still give you guys my predictions, and I hope you still enjoy it. But this will be kind of a quicker video than I would normally do. But we're going to go through every game, starting with the Jets at the Vikings. So this is one that I think could go one of two ways. This could be a game where the Vikings get once again humbled by a really good defense. I feel pretty confident at this point that our offense has clicked enough where they can kind of overcome a more difficult defense. The Jets do their work mostly in the secondary. Their pass rush is good, but it's not the biggest, factor for them, which is good for the Vikings, because Christian Darrisaw is still out. One big thing for us is we will have Dalvin Tomlinson in the game now, for Week 13. So a couple guys still out, again, including Darrisaw, which will be a huge one. With Tomlinson in, hopefully our run game can be a little bit better. The Jets playing Mike White, who put up a tremendous performance last week. But first of all, that was against the Bears, and second of all, sometimes that can happen where a guy comes in, you don't game plan for him because he is, hasn't played in however long. So Mike White playing phenomenally last week, but there's really no telling whether he's going to repeat that, whether he's going to start playing awful against the Vikings, or whether he's going to just go off again. Obviously, the Vikings defense, you never know how well someone's going to do with Mac Jones throwing for his career high against us last week. So we'll see how that goes. But that being said, I'm going to pick the Vikings to win this game. And actually, I'm going to be going to this game. I should have started with that. I'm really excited to do that, and hopefully I can get some shots of highlights from the game and do a raw post-game reaction from US Bank Stadium. I'll be going to that in a couple days, so I'm really excited to see that one live. I'm really pumped to see the Jefferson versus Ahmad Sauce Gardner matchup live. That'll be a lot of fun. So fingers crossed for a good game that I can see there. And of course, ESPN has the thousands of ads that are on the right side, so I have to mute. Steelers at the Falcons. This is kind of a toss-up game. I'm going to go with the Falcons because Patterson has continued to perform well, and the Steelers don't really have much going for them. I mean, Kenny Pickett has not been playing very well, but George Pickens has been kind of the bright spot of the team. If there's any hope for their future of the franchise, it's in him. So he's always fun to watch every week, but I'm going to have to go with the Falcons to win this one, especially at home. They're actually 4-2 at home this year, so expect the Falcons to win that one. Packers at Bears. This one, you didn't expect it to be as even in the odds as it is now. At the beginning of the season, if I told you that the Packers would be only -3 odds over the Bears, I'd think you were crazy. But I do still think the Packers should win this game. I think that at 4-8, the Packers are way better than the 3-9 Bears. It's not just a record thing. Obviously, Fields has had a few flashes where he's played very well, but the rest of his team, especially the defense now, cannot back him up. And Rodgers owns the Bears. He said it himself, and it's still true even with the limited options he has at wide receiver. So I expect the Packers to win that one. Jaguars at Lions, and this is a game between two teams that are kind of, I don't want to say they're hot. I'm not going to go that far, but they are definitely on the way up in their with their respected franchises. Both teams struggling so much in recent years, and this is kind of a futures game because these are two teams that I think have the potential to be really good in the future. In the next few years, they should develop into good teams. The Lions could even be a potential playoff team by next year if they can get some of their defensive issues shored up. And I'm going to go with the Lions here. It's a home game coming off of almost beating the Bills. I think they're going to be hungry for another impressive performance, and I think they're going to deliver it against the Jaguars. So Lions win that one. Giants and Commanders. This one, a few weeks ago, you'd be like, not that good a game. But now all of a sudden, the Giants are 7-4 and the Commanders are 7-5. So the Commanders could potentially overtake the Giants in the playoff standings by winning this game. And as it speaks right now, the Commanders are in the playoff picture, which is crazy. I do think the Giants will win this game. They've kind of been struggling offensively, but I kind of feel like the Commanders are gonna have that eventually have that game where they kind of hit that snag. I don't think they're quite as good as their record, suggests they are. Taylor Heineke definitely injects a lot of energy into this team, but I don't think they're necessarily 7-5 potential or material quite yet. They've just been playing some good teams in recent weeks. So I do expect the Giants to win this game, but it could be closer than previously thought. And Washington is actually the line favorite right now at -2 on ESPN, so that's kind of crazy. Titans at Eagles. Vikings fans are rooting for the Titans more than they ever have before in this game. The Eagles, could potentially lose. This is one of those games. You went through the rest of the Eagles season after they won that or lost that game to the Commanders, and you think, all right, what are some of the games that the Eagles can actually lose going down the stretch? And this was one of the maybe 2 or 3. So the Vikings are going to win or overtake them for the number 1 seed. They're going to have to maybe lose only 1 game the rest of the stretch, and the Eagles are going to have to lose 3. And this is one of the 3 that they could potentially lose, and I'm really hoping they do. I still have to go with the Eagles on this one, but this is potentially the week where the Titans can pull off the upset and make Vikings fans very happy. That being said, I don't see enough on the offensive side of the ball for the Titans to match up against this Eagles run defense. This Eagles run defense is one of the only defensive lines in the league that I really feel like can fully contain Derrick Henry. And as everyone knows, when the Titans don't have Derrick Henry, they're dead in the water. It just is the way it is. So I do expect the Eagles to win this game. Broncos Ravens, let's not waste too much time on this one. I understand that the Ravens just lost to the Jags, a very embarrassing performance. But even with the blown leads and all the frustration, they're going to beat the Broncos. They just aren't good right now. I mean, it feels redundant to say, but the Broncos just are not good. They're not exactly riding right now. Russell Wilson has been playing awful. I don't know if you guys have been seeing that update thing on TikTok where they're comparing Russell Wilson's bathrooms in his house to touchdowns. But it's 12-8 right now. He still needs 4 more touchdowns to have as many touchdowns that he has bathrooms by the end of the season. Anyway, I do expect the Ravens to win that game and improve to 8-4. Now for the big matchup of the week, for reasons that are not even football related, Browns at the Texans. Now I'm not going to say too much about the whole situation. All I'm going to say is I am wholeheartedly rooting for the Texans to beat the Browns and for Deshaun Watson to have the worst performance of his career coming back after that suspension. And I'm actually going to, I don't know if this counts as the upset of the week. And I'm not going to say it is. I'm not going to say that's the upset of the week. But I am going to say Texans over Browns. I think the whole Texans organization is going to be so fired up. I think the Browns are going to be kind of nervous playing this game because they know how much they gave up in order to attain or obtain Deshaun Watson. And all of a sudden in this one game, everything's going to culminate into, did we make the right choice? And I think there's going to be a nervous energy with the Browns. I think the Texans are all going to be pumped up, wanting to prove to the whole NFL that they are capable of beating Deshaun Watson. And also, Deshaun Watson hasn't played in like 2 years. He's going to be insanely rusty. So for all those reasons, I'm going to say the Texans beat the Browns. Seahawks at the Rams. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be my upset of the week. The Rams at 3-8. You never would have thought at the beginning of the season that the Rams beating the Seahawks would be an upset. The Seahawks are 6-5 now. They've kind of taken a step back, but I still do think it would be a pretty big upset for the Rams to overtake the Seahawks at this point. especially with the Seahawks understanding how important it is for them to win these games, especially in the division and down the stretch where they're now one game out of the wild card in the NFC. This would be a shocking game to lose, which I think makes it upset caliber, and I do think the Rams will get this upset win. 49ers Dolphins, I think this is going to be one of the best games of the week, and it's gonna be a really interesting matchup between two teams with very different styles of playing. 49ers with that very run-heavy approach, both teams with phenomenal defenses, and I think this is Tua's big test. He's been playing well against some teams with kind of spotty defenses, and just bad teams in general. This 49ers defense, this pass rush, these cornerbacks, they're going to test the Dolphins, and we're really going to see a lot of Tua in this game. I think the 49ers will win. It would really help the Vikings to secure that 2 seed if they lost. I do think the 49ers will win at home with all the pieces that they have, and they're increasingly building momentum. They are on an absolute tear, and they're also 4-1 at home, so I'm going to go with the 49ers. Chiefs at Bengals. This should be a really good game, a rematch of the AFC Championship game from last year. And I think it's all going to depend on Ja'Marr Chase. If Ja'Marr Chase plays, I think it's going to be an insanely close game that I'm going to say the Chiefs win either way. But with Ja'Marr Chase in, either team has a shot. It's going to be really close. With Ja'Marr Chase out, and I'm not sure exactly which one it is yet. We'll have to see, both for the Bengals' sake and my fantasy team's sake, if he plays. But if he doesn't play, I think the Chiefs should win this one a lot more handily, even though the Bengals have still been taking care of business with Ja'Marr Chase out, just not against teams like this in the Chiefs. So either way, I say the Chiefs win. We'll have to see how close it is. Chargers at Raiders. Anytime these two teams play, it's close, especially since the Chargers like to keep every game close this season, and every season really. I expect the Chargers to win this game, a nice win as they continue to try and gain momentum. Raiders knowing they're out of the playoffs, Chargers understanding that they're going to have to win a few games here to get back into the AFC playoff picture. So I expect them to win this game. Surprisingly, Las Vegas is the -1 favorite to win, so that's interesting for Vegas to be leading in bets in Vegas. Colts at Cowboys. This should be an easy one. Cowboys should win this game. I expect a run-heavy approach for both teams, but the Cowboys should be able to, with their defense. I mean, I don't even know. I think it's Matt Ryan now that's back for the Colts. They're coming off of almost defeating the Eagles, but not quite doing it, so who cares? And I think the Cowboys will win this one, especially at home. They're 5-1 at home. Their defense, pass rush, cornerback, it's all phenomenal. So I expect the Cowboys to win and keep pressure in the NFC East. Saints at Buccaneers for Monday Night Football. This game, it's tough to even say, but I'm going to go with the Buccaneers on this one. Losing more and more trust in this Buccaneers team, but I got to trust Tom Brady one more time in prime time against the Saints team that just has nothing going for them. They're 1-4 away this year. I'm going to go with the Buccaneers here. So a lot of exciting games to be played. Again, I'm excited to be at US Bank Stadium for the game against the Jets. I'll document it as much as I can. I try to just not record too much and just enjoy the game as much as I can when I'm there. So I'm not going to make a whole vlog out of it. But maybe I can just kind of put a few clips together that I can post here, a 2-3 minute video of some of the highlights from the game, from the stadium, as well as my full raw reaction. So excited for all that. Week 13, getting into the home stretch here as we are already ramping up, looking at the final playoff pictures, and we're 5-6 weeks away until the playoffs are set. So it's crazy how time flies in the NFL, but excited that it's getting to the most exciting part of the season. Thanks for watching this one, and I'll see you on the flip side.